history of the Maldives begins long before the first written records. Archaeological findings and oral traditions suggest that the islands were visited as early as the 3rd millennium before Christ by early seafarers from South Asia. The first permanent settlers were likely Dravidian peoples from what is now India and Sri Lanka, who settled on the islands during the 3rd or 2nd century before Christ. Indo-Aryan groups followed later and strongly shaped the language and culture. For many centuries, the Maldives served as an important hub for traders crossing the Indian Ocean. Merchants from India, Persia, Arabia, and Africa stopped at the islands, exchanging cowrie shells, coir fiber, and other goods, leaving behind cultural influences. The Maldivian royal line, the so-called Divahi rulers, emerged from these early communities. A decisive change began in the 7th century after Christ, when Arab traders increasingly reached the islands. They brought not only new trade connections, but also the Islamic faith. Around the 8th century after Christ, the population adopted Islam, and the Maldives became an Islamic sultanate, marked by religious and political stability. In the centuries that followed, the Maldives repeatedly came into the focus of external powers. In the 15th century, Chinese expeditions led by Admiral Zheng He visited the islands. In the 16th century, the Portuguese attempted to expand their influence and briefly took control. However, the Maldivian national hero, Muhammad Takurufanu, led a successful uprising in the year 1573, expelled the Portuguese, and restored independence. During the 17th century, the islands came under the protection of the Dutch, who controlled Sri Lanka at the time. Later, beginning in the year 1871, the British assumed external protection of the Maldives and turned the country into a protectorate, while internal administration remained in the hands of the Sultanate. In the year 1956, the Maldives gained self-governance, and in the year 1966, they declared full independence from Great Britain. 3 years later, in the year 1970, the Sultanate was abolished, and the Republic of Maldives was founded, with Ibrahim Nasir as president. The following decades marked a period of rapid modernization. Under President Maumoon Abdul Gayoom, who was elected in the year 1978 and remained in office for 30 years, new schools, roads, harbors, and health centers were built. At the same time, tourism began to grow explosively from the 1970s onward and became the economic backbone of the country. Despite economic progress, accusations of political repression and restricted freedom of expression persisted. At the beginning of the 21st century, many Maldivians demanded democratic reforms. A new constitution was adopted in the year 2007, and in the year 2008, the first free presidential elections were held. Mohamed Nasheed, a democratic activist and former political prisoner, became president. His government attempted to strengthen democracy and advance climate policy, but political tensions led to his resignation in the year 2012 under controversial circumstances. In the years that followed, political crises and changes in government continued. Abdullah Yameen became president in the year 2013, but his administration was associated with authoritarian tendencies and corruption allegations. In the year 2018, a surprising shift occurred when Ibrahim Mohamed Solih won the presidential election and initiated a period of political openness and international cooperation. The global corona pandemic of the year 2020 hit the Maldivian economy hard, as tourism, the country's most important economic sector, came to an almost complete halt. The country recovered relatively quickly, however, and reopened to visitors. Since the year 2023, the country has been led by President Mohamed Muizu, who focuses strongly on infrastructure projects, new international partnerships, and economic diversification. Nevertheless, the Maldives continue to face major challenges: the rising sea level, the destruction of coral reefs, ongoing political tensions, and a heavy dependence on tourism. Despite these uncertainties, the Maldives preserve their cultural identity, Islam as the state religion, and a way of life deeply connected to the sea. Today, the Maldives are regarded as one of the world's unique island nations, rich in history, endangered by the climate crisis, yet full of hope for a sustainable and stable future.